In the meantime, let's get some more insights and reaction to today's trade. Julia Lee joining us live now from Bell Direct in Sydney. Julia, your thoughts on the market today? What do you make of the session so far?
Hi Dan, it's a pretty negative session, but it does cap off a month that has been quite good for the Australian share market. In the month of October, we're tracking for a 4% gain. And given that in the last 8 months, the ASX has been down in 6 out of the last 8 now, it's nice to see the second month of gains. Now, one of the things that has helped the market this month is the fact that we've seen volatility decreasing, and that's really helped some of the gains. But I guess in terms of the market, the energy sector has been the space to watch this month with a big bounce back. It's been up 8%. We have a look at the ASX today, though things haven't been tracking so well. We've seen red across the board, although things are now improving. If we have a look at the intraday graph, you can see that just in the last half hour, we have started to climb. That's along the same trend as what we've seen around the region, and that's because at 2 o'clock we do see the press conference for the Bank of Japan, and I guess the market just hoping that we do see more stimulus coming out of Japan. So the next half hour is going to be very important for our market and markets around the region, but for today, a negative session really dragged down by the banks and material space.
What's your gut feel on the BOJ announcement today, Julia?
I'm not sure that they are going to make a move. I mean, Japan has been in a rut for a while now, and really the moves that the BOJ have been making aren't showing a lot of, I guess, impact in terms of the economy. So a little bit of doubt on whether we are going to see more stimulus coming through from the BOJ, but we have seen Japan just breaking into positive territory now, half an hour before that press conference. So I guess a lot of hope there in the market.
Asciano shares also really tearing ahead today, Julia, up 8.2%, $8.18. What's your own outlook on the stock now that we've seen a bit of action today?
Well, hopefully this starts to heat up and become more interesting. It looks like out of the woodwork we have seen more companies and more entities that are interested in Asciano's assets and in blocking this particular bid. So I guess for shareholders, what they are going to be hoping for is a bidding war breaking out. At the moment, we know that there is a Brookfield takeover offer on the table, and now this Cube consortium acquiring 19.99%. They look like they do have a blocking stake, and they look like they want to come to the table with some negotiations as well. We know that Cube Logistics, Chris Corrigan, very heavily involved in the ports as well as Patrick's in the past, and I guess the Patrick's container business of Asciano would be a good fit with Cube Logistics, and it looks like the Canada Pension Plan Investment Board as well as the Global Investment Partners, which are the other parties in the consortium, very much interested in the haulage business. So it's become very interesting. Asciano, we know that the ACCC has concerns, but the fact that we have seen multiple parties now interested in Asciano's assets means that it's good news for the share price in the short term. Medium to longer term, you really do want to see a bidding war breaking out for shareholders to benefit.
I'm just reading that the stock's up about 25% this year alone, so clearly the market flagging this one as a bit of a takeover target early on.
Absolutely. We've already seen one takeover offer on the table, and really without Cube Logistics, this consortium's move, the Brookfield offer I think would have been likely to have gone through, addressing some of those ACCC concerns. Of course, when we do see a takeover, it does tend to be good news for the share price because a premium usually is given for control of the business, and that's what we are seeing in Asciano's case, where we have seen the shares rocketing high because of that premium in that takeover bid.
And Julia, we've also been looking at Macquarie shares in the session. It's up by about 2.5%, cracking past that $85 mark at $86.12. Your thoughts on the result today? What did you take from it?
Look, it's a record half year, and it's great to see Macquarie turning around its business from the global financial crisis, where it was very much centred on satellite funds. Its business now is a lot less risky than during the global financial crisis and pre the global financial crisis, and it has done extremely well. We're seeing better trading conditions, and you only have to see the fund managers to have a look at how they've performed over the past week to know that they are some of the best performing, especially given that the market has bounce back in the month of October, and that of course means better performance fees as well, and performance fees coming to the table. Now those performance fees, they are likely to be skewed to the first half rather than the second half, which is why Macquarie is still forecasting lower profits in the second half compared to the first half, but still the results slightly ahead of expectations. And then finally, Macquarie does make a lot of its revenue offshore. In fact, the majority of its revenue offshore, and the FX movements have been in its favour. So a great result coming through from Macquarie, unlike some of the other results from the banking space that we have seen this week. If we have a look at ANZ and NAB, which came out with full year numbers, which are more of the traditional banking structure, NAB's down 6.7% in the week to date, and ANZ shares are down 5.9% in the week to date. So it looks like Macquarie style of business, which is more focused in and leveraged to markets, doing well in the environment that we're in, whereas that traditional banking space really being hampered by some of the capital controls which are happening at the moment.
Just having a look at some of the broker moves on the stock, the consensus price target for Macquarie is 86.82, so it's trading almost bang on consensus. The most, I guess, optimistic outlook for the stock, though, rests with Morgan Stanley. They're calling a price target of $93. So I guess the question is, what's next, do you think? What will drive growth for Macquarie going forward? And would you expect it to see trading around $93 anytime soon?
Look, if we have a look at Macquarie, those broker forecasts are probably going to be updated. So you see an update to that on Monday, and that's really why you've seen ANZ shares moving so negatively today. You not only saw the full year numbers coming through yesterday, but today you've seen a reaction by the big investment houses on their targets for ANZ, and you saw the same thing with NAB earlier this week as well. So Macquarie out with its half-year numbers today, but no doubt some of those targets are going to move on the back of the very positive result that's come through and some of the drivers of that. The annuity style business did very well, up by 38%, and then we also saw the capital market side of the business doing well, up by 66%, and this is a business that does tend to under-promise and over-deliver. So no doubt we're going to see some of those targets moving. A good result by Macquarie, a good share price reaction, but I'm expecting that share price reaction to continue moving north on Monday.
Okay, exciting times. Julia Lee from Bell Direct. Always appreciate it, Julia. Have a great weekend.
You too. Thanks, Dan.